So, you're curious if you can make beats inside of Pro Tools? Keep watching this video. Hey, what's up guys? It's Chris Lee back with another United Destiny Entertainment video. What I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to make beats inside of Pro Tools. Now basically what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to do the structure inside of Pro Tools first. So I'm going to basically show you how to do a click track, show you how to set up the tempo, as well as add some instrument tracks so you can start the structure and make your beats. Now I'm not going to make a whole beat inside of Pro Tools. I just basically want to show you guys the setup. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button right now. Make sure you hit the notification bell for more videos like this in the future, and also leave me some comments and let me know what you think. Let's jump into it. What I basically did in the process was I opened up a template inside of Pro Tools last night, and it basically had one instrument in it, and that was the percussion. Because I basically wanted to challenge myself to see if I could just make a beat with whatever they had in there, and it only had that one instrument, and I basically pretty much added everything else. So in the process, this is what the beat actually sounds like. So it basically started off with that one percussion, and then in the process, I went ahead and added all the rest of the instrumentations inside of Pro Tools. Now you can't hear any bass. Well, the bass in there is pretty much low because I didn't add any type of compressors or EQs and all that to amplify the sounds. This is just pretty much everything layered together without me adding everything to it. Okay, so in the process, I'm going to try to show you guys how to actually make a new session. So I'm going to go to File, New. And I would normally say to go ahead and create it from a template because you have that option to create from a template, but we're not going to do that. So we're just going to create a blank session. I like to personally go with 48 kilohertz as my sample rate, and 24-bit is fine. And we'll just name this Pro Tools beat. Go ahead and save that one. All right, so as you can see, we actually have an empty session. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you guys how we can set it up from scratch just to get it prepared to go ahead and start making some beats inside of Pro Tools. All right, so first thing that I want to do is go up here to the top. And I'm gonna make sure this is in front of me. Let's go up here to the top, and I like to change this to show sub counter. And I can keep the main as bars and beats. And let's do the sub counter as minutes and seconds. This is kind of going to help you decide the timing and where you're at in the song. So it's pretty convenient for me. So now in the process, we want to go ahead and add an instrument track. So just go ahead and hit Shift, Control, N. And that'll bring up a new track. That'll allow you to import a new track or start a new track for Pro Tools. So we're going to go ahead and create one. We're going to make it, let's go ahead and go with stereo. So I'm going to hold down Control, right key over, and it's going to change that to stereo. And then if you want to change between an audio track and an instrument track, just hold down Control, up and down. So it goes from MIDI, master, aux, instrument, etc. And the same thing for stereo, Control left and right. It's just stereo and mono, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and go with stereo. And then in the process from that, we can change ticks to, let's just change that to samples. Now from this window, just another quick key. Say if you wanted to add like some vocal tracks, or you wanted to add like any audio tracks or auxiliary tracks, anything like that, you just hit the same thing. So you hold down Shift, Control, N, and it adds as many as you wanted to in the process. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add a master track. So one of those, and then shift over for stereo. And we're going to go ahead and put a master fader in and keep everything else the same. All right, so we have one instrument track. We could put more, so what I'll do is go ahead and hit shift control N again, stereo, and you can use stereo and mono. I just personally use stereo sometimes. If I use mono, it doesn't matter because it's going to go out in stereo anyways in a master fader, so don't worry about that. I can go ahead and set up an aux track, and let's go ahead and do one more. Shift in, and we'll add more instrument tracks, and I'll just add about 4 of them. Okay, and then in the process, what I'll do is go ahead and hit create. All right, so I'll take these, hold down shift click to move these up, like my master fader down here. So you just double click right here. I like to click the red arrow, and then if you click here, it does the same thing. So you click the red arrow, double click, and that'll bring up the tempo. Okay, so in the process, it's going to automatically set it up to where you can hear the metronome. All right, so if you want to know how to set up the metronome, if you go down here to your actual counter, this is the metronome button here. So if you cut this off, you won't be able to hear anything. Cut it back on. Okay, and here, this is your actual count off. So without the count off, when you hit the record button, when that's not enabled, when you hit the record button, it's just going to record. So we're going to enable a random track. Put this at the top for OCD bother me in this video. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit record. If you notice, it's just recording right away. There's no count off. So there's no 5, 6, 7, 8, or 2, 3, 4, whatever. Okay, so in the process, I'm gonna go ahead and hit Control Z to undo that. Now I want it to have a count off. So this count off is gonna do it by 2 bars. So check it out. Start. And you notice it's recording. So do that again. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, start. And if you notice, it's starting to record and play. So it's giving you a count off time so you can actually get prepared to play whatever you're going to play. Now I'm going to Control Z that again. Now one thing that you want to do is, most people don't know that Pro Tools comes with some amazing sounds. That's what I couldn't wait to tell you guys in this video, because everybody wants to get FL Studio, Logic. You think that you need Omnisphere. You think that you need to go buy all these crazy plugins to be able to make some great beats. But Pro Tools Expand 2 actually comes with some amazing sounds that I would normally use if I didn't have my FL Studio. FL Studio is just more convenient for me to work in, but I feel like when I make particular beats inside of Pro Tools, I make great beats. So in the process, we're going to go ahead and go to the mix window by hitting Control plus button, and then here's our instrument tracks. Now what you want to do is go up into the inserts, and then you want to go down to instruments. Now for instruments, I have different things in here: boom, slapper, clavinet, a lot of electric pianos, FL Studio stuff. You don't even need to worry about that. I've tried that before in the past, and I think it can make it crash or something like that. But mini grand, let's try the mini grand. Mini grand is by far one of the most professional sounding pianos inside Pro Tools. So if you don't have any other piano VSTs that you can use in the process, go ahead and go in Pro Tools and create your piano sounds inside Pro Tools with the mini grand. Mini grand, it sounds great. So check it out. That allows you, I mean, it sounds great, and then you can change the sound. I personally like the real one. They have bright, so let's go ahead and change something in there as well. See what bright sounds like. It's a different sound. It got dynamic response, reverb level that you can add. You can turn the pianos up as loud as you wanted to. The velocity is going to be based on how soft or hard you hit the keys. So you hit it soft or hard, it's going to determine whether your piano keys actually are louder or softer. Okay, you can actually change the room as well as the reverb sound on there. So always keep that in mind. I personally like real, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Now let's talk about expand in the process. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and go to the next track. Make sure that you turn off record ready and go to the next track. Then we'll go ahead and go to expand. Expand has a lot of great sounds inside of Pro Tools. Like I said, this is something that you definitely, when you purchase Pro Tools, it's going to come with it. So the majority of you who probably got your Pro Tools version and didn't expand, basically install this. Install these VSTs that Pro Tools have, these instrument sounds, these synths and everything inside of your Pro Tools to make your DAW pretty much effective in the process. All right, so check it out. All right, so if you click there, there's so many different sounds that you can use in the process. I mean, if you just went ahead and grabbed, like, I don't know, something random. Pro Tools also allows you to control the modulation. So check this out. That's no modulation. Now watch this. It starts to flutter. Okay, so again, you have plenty of sounds that you can actually use inside of Pro Tools in there. I mean, there's just everything. Strings, the whole nine. Let's check out some strings. We can go with strings, and we can go with, let's go with legato, spiccato. Okay, so I like that. I personally will probably keep that. I don't even have to change that. Now we wanted to see something else inside of Pro Tools. There's just so many different sounds that you have in here, even with structure free. I like structure free. I could load my Omnisphere. That works in there as well. So don't give up on that option. Obviously, Omnisphere is a very professional software in the process. All right, so check this out. So come, little sine wave. Something like that. All right, so in the process, you just go to patch here, and it has the libraries. Now, the libraries are going to come with a bunch of loops. It's going to come with a bunch of different sounds that you can actually use, more like bass leads, drum kits, etc. So we wanted to use, like, let's say a R&B loop. All right, so I got something for the loop, just in case I decide that, hey, I don't really want to go ahead and make my kicks and snares and hi-hats from scratch. I can just use a loop. So say we did use a loop. I'll go ahead and name this to loop. And then I'll name this to strings. And this to piano. If you name your tracks, it'll be better in the long run because you'll be able to keep a better structure and be organized with your files in case you decide to send it to somebody else. So now in the process from there, what you want to do is go ahead and just hit the play button. All right, so what I like to do is right click up here and go ahead and hit, let's go ahead and go with all. I love to have everything showing up there. Most people don't. I personally do. You know what? Let's go ahead and make this 9. It's 8 bars, but you want it to go to 9. So, and that's for the start. And let's keep this at 1. Okay. All right, so as you can see, we actually set up our points to record in. So let's focus on the piano right now. Now, tempo, are we good with 120? So let's go ahead and change it to 110. And after we change it to 110, you want to make sure that the record ready is enabled on the piano. All right, so in the process, we're just going to do something simple. You know what? And we can even change this to, let's go ahead and move this back. Okay, for some reason it did it that time. I'm not really sure why, but let's go ahead and hit Alt 0. That's going to help us quantize what we just played. So if you don't know these quick keys, make sure that you get a pen and a pad and write this stuff down, because that's just how I work inside of Pro Tools. Quick keys, it makes everything much easier for me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the Quantize grid, and I'm going to hit Note and hit Apply. This is weird because once you apply it, you can't even really tell until you pay attention to the notes. So it's kind of weird. It doesn't really, show you that it actually did something. But if you use your ears, you can tell that it actually quantized it. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I want to go ahead and highlight these, and I'm going to stretch them out. This marquee tool. And let's go ahead and stretch this one out as well. And this is what we'll do just to be creative, because we don't want anything to stop our creativity. If I want to go ahead and repeat that, I'm just going to hit Alt R. That's repeat. It allows you to repeat and add as many loops or patterns that you need to, for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, etc. So just hold down Alt R, repeat. You put the number in if I want 2 of them. Boom, I just hit 2 and it gives me 2 more. All right, so now in the process, what I want to go ahead and do is play it. Good. Okay, now it sounds good. So now in the process, what I want to do is just go ahead and go to the strings now. And I can either copy that or just go ahead and play it. But let's go ahead and play it. One more, let's go ahead and play it. I'm gonna hit 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so copied, played everything. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Alt 0, we want to quantize it. It's gonna line everything up. You seen it snapped right to it. Now we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to expand everything out. Stretch it out. Make sure that it's all even. Okay. All right, so same thing. Let's go ahead and Alt R to repeat. 1. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and play it. All right, so that sounds good. That's a good way to start and structure your beat. Now you can go in and add as many instrumentations that you want throughout the process. It's really up to you. There's no limit, unless your computer obviously can't handle it. And I'll go back and talk to you guys about sample rate and how if you're recording at a higher sample rate, then it allows you to have a less number of tracks. But the lower your sample rate is, then it will allow you to have more tracks that you're able to record in inside of Pro Tools. But that's all crazy advanced technical stuff. Don't worry about all that stuff. We'll talk about all that later. What you can do is, if you decided that you like your patterns, like what I did last night, I decided that I like my patterns. So what I did was I exported all the instruments of the pianos, the leads, the synths, everything that I liked, and exported it to FL Studio. And I decided to use all my kicks, snares, hi-hats, and everything inside of FL Studio to build around that. And then I exported it and took it back into Pro Tools. Me taking it inside of Pro Tools allowed me to build my beat all together and then structure it the way that I wanted to. That's what I played at the beginning of the video. It's not done, but just to be able to bounce audio files back and forth from two sessions or two programs or DAWs, it makes it really convenient for me in the process. So it's just something that I like. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do right now is just go ahead and record a simple loop. I could go ahead and start building up, random drum kits from kicks, snares, hi-hats from scratch, but I just want to go ahead and do the loop just because it's simple. If you do decide to use the kicks, the snares, and hi-hats inside of the software, it's all simple. It's all the same thing. The same thing that you would do in Pro Tools, Logic, FL Studio. It's the exact same thing. Pick the one that you want, hit the record button, and just manually play it. That's all you have to do. Now, your timing definitely matters when you're playing a loop, so let's go ahead and do that again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now let's check that out. I'm just gonna cut this down, and voila. Now, for right now, what I want to go ahead and do is take this. I'm going to right click this. I like using quick punch mode. It allows me to hit the number 3 on a numeric keypad to be able to record. So instead of clicking the record button, then the play button, or any other quick keys, I don't like to do that. I just like to hit the number 3 when I'm recording and then hit the number 3 again when I want to stop recording. That allows me to quick punch exactly what it says that it's doing, okay? But in the process, you cannot quick punch and try to loop it effectively. So in the process, I just change quick punch to normal and right click the play button and change it to loop, and it'll loop. All right, so boom is also an option that you can use inside of Pro Tools. So let's go ahead and load that up real quick. It's basically like another plugin that allows you to utilize your kicks, snares, hi-hats, etc. And it pretty much works the same way, except it's more so you can control it from here. So if I decided to turn these on or turn these off, or whatever the case may be, whichever ones that I decided that I wanted to use, you can turn the levels up, you can turn the levels down, you can decide which ones you actually want to use, the patterns that you want to use, change the patterns up. It allows you to control the velocity as well. So how hard you want the instruments to actually hit softer. You can basically control the decay, the levels, the panning, everything that you want to utilize. And I feel effectively all the kicks, snares, hi-hats, and different sounds inside of it isn't that great, but it's something to utilize. So same thing. Let's go ahead and hit the number 3. Okay, so let's play that back. Now, the same rules apply if you decided to add up any type of effects to your instruments. So you want to go ahead and set up and take your bus and say we made this reverb. It'll be output, or it'll be bus 1 and 2. And then the process, what we're going to do is go ahead and load up, say, just a reverb, any type of reverb. Now we're going to go to our piano, go down to bus for our send track. Go ahead and hit reverb, stereo. I like to make everything pre to fader and follow main pattern. And just turn it up. And you can tell that it's working because on the aux track, you can see that the signal is actually going through your auxiliary and the reverb being passed through the reverb. Let's over exaggerate. And let's cut it back. You can still do the same thing as you would normally do. You can actually compress the signal if you wanted to. So if I decided to go in and add a compressor and I wanted my piano to be louder, let's just add a CLA 2A. Without it, it's really weak. With it, it's more present in your face. All right, so another thing that I feel is really convenient for myself is after you're done and you don't want to hear your metronome anymore, just cut it off. The metronome, you can cut that off, or you can also mute the click track if you feel like you've structured the beat with your kicks, hi-hats, and snares and everything that you need already. Just go ahead and cut the metronome off so you don't have to hear it anymore. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how you would build and structure your beat inside of Pro Tools. Now, I want to show you one thing before I actually finish this video. This is the Meta plugin. This is the actual software that I told you to buy. If you haven't had a chance, it basically allows you to use third-party VSTs that you aren't allowed to use inside of the software of Pro Tools or the version of Pro Tools that you have. It allows you to use all the plugins or the VSTs that you bought or purchased before to go inside of this third-party host software to be able to utilize it in your Pro Tools session. That's a big plus for me. It's something that I tend to use all the time. So whatever you decide to use, if it's any type of instruments like Nexus or whatever the case may be, if it's not loading up inside of Pro Tools on its own, then go ahead and use the Meta plugin. It's a great plugin. Make sure you go purchase that as well. I'll try to put a link in the description box. Something that I like to use it for is if I decide I can't load the auto-tune version that I have inside of this Pro Tools, so I use the Meta plugin to be able to use that in case I need that for the vocals or my vocals or any client's vocals. It's very convenient to be able to do that. So just keep that in mind. Go get you the Meta plugin if you don't have it. I did a video on it already. Make sure that you go check my videos out. I'll probably also put a link in the description box for that as well. All right, guys, so that was it for the video. If this video helped you out, be sure to give me that thumbs up, that like. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this in the future, as well as the notification bell. I tried to make this video pretty much simple for people that are just beginning inside of Pro Tools. I'll make more advanced videos like this in the future, but I try to look out for the little people who are just getting started. So all my advanced subscribers that really want the advanced Pro Tools tutorials, try not to get upset. I'll make some stuff for you in the future. All you have to do is request it. I don't want to just keep making random videos. I make a lot of these videos based off requests or, ideas that people give me. So if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, then you basically got to let me know in the comment section and I will respond to it. On top of that, be sure to look in the description box for any of my affiliate links for any type of MIDI keyboards, microphones, interfaces, anything that I use for my recording. Guys, I encourage you to purchase some of that stuff. If you do, it'll help me out. You guys know that I try to give you a lot of tips to help you grow as a music engineer, a music producer, singer, songwriter, whatever the case may be. Go purchase some of that gear from my link. It'll help me out. I'll get a little percentage if you guys buy from those links. So have fun with that. If you need any advice on any type of equipment that you may want to buy in the future or you may need, just go ahead and contact me and we'll go from there. Peace.